I know I've said this a million times on television. I've been saying about every city. I've been saying about Philadelphia Chiefs that they got and what stuff going on over the field. They can make the record. They win the game with Jalen Hurts over the I say that's about the Dallas Cowboys. And I got my NFL last time saying, hey, when I say what the damn football. But the bottom line is this, man. When you do it, you win most of the time. When you establish it, you have a better opportunity.
What is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the Game According to Me, a weekly podcast where I talk about what's happening in the world of sports, primarily NFL and NCAA. But we're gonna have a couple other things to talk about, some stuff what's happening in the NBA. Check on what's going on in the NBA, and we had Survivor Series this past Sunday, and we're gonna talk about that. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right into it. So let's start with the NBA. Let's take a look at the standings. The Eastern Conference is first. After a victory last night from the Nets and a loss last night from the Bulls, the Nets are now the number one seed, the 13-5 record. The Bulls are second with 12-6. The Heat and the Wizards are tied for third, and with 11-6. Hornets are in the fifth spot with 11-8. The Celtics are 10-8. The Bucks are 10-8, and the Sixers are 10-8. The Knicks and the Cavaliers and the Hawks are looking on the outside with a 9-8 record for the Knicks and 99-9, and your 99 record for Cavaliers and the Hawks. Raptors are 8-10. Pacers are 11-8. Pistons are 4-12, and the Magic are 4-14. So, yeah, definitely. Looks like we get the Nets are now getting back on track to where we thought they might be. Still very shocked. The Bulls being on top, being the second seed, along with the Heat and the Wizards right behind them. So, and the Hornets behind them. Celtics and Bucks and Sixers, teams that you thought might be in those top four spots, are in the bottom four spots. So, yeah, but we still got a long ways to go. Long ways to go before the we just starting in the season. Like we see teams have just played maybe 18, 17 games, 19 games for a few teams, but it's just around that way. In the Western Conference, the top team is still the Golden State Warriors, 15-2, unbelievable. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Their 4-game winning streak has been incredible. They went on a 9-game winning streak at one point as well. But how about the Phoenix Suns? They have won 13 in a row. With a 14-3 record, the number 2 squad. They're showing that last year was not a fluke. And that's good. The Jazz also showing that last year not a fluke. They're number 3 seed at 11-6. The Clippers are in 4th, even without Kawhi Leonard, at 10-7. The Mavericks are 9-7. The Grizzlies are 9-8. The Trailblazers are 9-8. The Nuggets are 9-8. The Lakers and Timberwolves are in the 9th and 10th seeds at 9-9 and 8-9. LeBron James is back for the Lakers, and then he'll miss another game as he gets suspended for throwing in an elbow in the punch and busting open Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart, he got 2 games because of his reactions to that. And I know some people have been, wondering, well, why is that? Why didn't he get why did he get more games than LeBron James? But I think when you look at it, I think it is, you just can't go around acting like a crazy wild man like he was. And I understand it. I understand it. He started. He was kind of still at first, but then he felt the blood running down his face, and I could totally feel how you could have been feeling. Could have been feeling like he got and that he somehow got stole off of. Yeah, I think this LeBron James. You can see LeBron James definitely did it intentionally, because he swung his elbow. He swung it back with force. This just wasn't like a thing where he was trying to like box out or anything like that. He swung his elbow with force on purpose. So he was trying to give him an elbow. Question. So that is that. The Thunder, the Kings, the Spurs, the Pelicans, and the Rockets are on the outside looking into what would be the playoffs. And the Rockets are just awful. They're the worst team in the league. They've lost 15 straight. 1-16 record. John Wall is not playing. I think they were trying to trade John Wall, but there's been nothing, no sign of that. They've been hearing of that. So Rockets going through a little bit of a rebuild, maybe even intentionally tanking. So who never knows? I think you may see some people traded before and around the deadline from the Rockets. They got some really good pieces. They've got Christian Wood, who is there. John Wall, and they have a few others that could be there. So look for those to be leaders for a couple of categories. Points per game. We have Kevin Durant at the top, 28.5. Stephen Curry, 28.4. Number 2, Giannis is at 3, 26.9. Paul George is 4, 26.4. Jokic is 5th, tied with Paul George at 26.4. Then we get DeMar DeRozan at 26.3, Zach LaVine at 25.9, Jason Tatum 25.7, John Morant 25.5, and then there's number 10, Jimmy Butler 25.1. Assists. The top 10 are Chris Paul with 10.3 a game, James Harden with 9.1, Trae Young with 9.0, Russell Westbrook with 8.7, Damian Lillard with 8.1, Dejounte Murray with 8.0, Luka Doncic with 7.9, LaMelo Ball with 7.7, Draymond Green with 7.6, and number 10, Kyle Lowry with 7.6 as well. And finally, in rebounds, just doing the triple double ones. What you know, Rudy Gobert at the top, he's got 14.9. Nikola Jokic, number 2, with 13.6. Jonas Valanciunas has 12.5. Clint Capella is 11.9. Giannis Antetokounmpo is 11.9. Jarrett Allen is 11.2. Yusuf Nurkic is 11.2. Andre Drummond is 11.1. And Domantas Sabonis is 11.1. And Christian Wood, guy who I just talked about earlier, is 11.1. Christian Wood, again, is he's a good player. Like he's averaging 15 points a game. He's averaging 11 rebounds a game. He's just under 1 block a game. And he takes threes. Doesn't hit them at a high rate. He's only 30% from 3, but he is. He's good. He'd be a good center. I think, like for the Bulls, like my team, the Bulls, who aren't very big. If they could somehow really get Christian Wood and have him be the power forward, on this team, so that they can be a little big, I think that would make them an even better force to be reckoned with. I really do. So I'm all for this. Let's go ahead and let's get Christian Wood, Bulls fans. Let's do this. While I'm doing this, let's see. I wanted to check the 3-point percentage. It doesn't look like I can get to it. Damn, excuse me. Okay. That's it for the checking on the NBA. We're gonna do the WWE Survivor Series next. Talk about that. So the WWE had its Survivor Series event this past Sunday, and boy, it was a fantastic show. Had some great matches on there. The main event, in my opinion, was the best one. Big E against Roman Reigns. Charlotte and Becky kick it off. That was a good match. You know, we had some real life tension between those two, and that that makes for a great theater, as it always does and as it should be. Kind of interesting to see that Becky Lynch won, but she won with a roll up. So it was nothing that you could say. Even you could say that Becky Lynch beat her. It wasn't something that was like, hey, she made her tap out to the disarm, or she pinned her with the man slam or something like that. It wasn't anything like that. So I think that's good and good like that. So there was other good matches too on the show. The men's Survivor Series one was a really good one. I liked the women's Survivor Series one, even though the fans in Brooklyn started to piss me off and was doing chants, and they were doing all this other stuff. You know, they were doing the wave, doing the match, and it was just bullshit. They was doing that shit last night too, during the Damian Priest match with Sami Zayn. You know, it's just it's garbage. It really is. It's just so disrespectful to people in there putting their bodies on the line to entertain you, and you just won't sit there and just do things like that. And also, you know, stop saying that it's WWE's fault. No, it's not. It's the fans' fault. I don't care how quote unquote bad you think WWE is or the booking or whatever. No, they don't go. If you're just gonna, you know, piss and bitch and not enjoy and not sit there and enjoy the show and go along with the show and everything like that. It's bullshit. And they said they were doing that stuff last night as well. Speaking of last night, Seth Rollins was attacked by one of the fans. And that was insane, incredible. It was also very scary for Seth, and who knows what was happening. If that guy could have had something on him or something like that to attack Seth. It was a very scary shot, and they know who this guy is. I'm not gonna give him any names or any publicity, but his name is out there on Twitter and probably on the internet. You can Google search and things like that. And he's been arrested and he's been charged with a couple crimes, and hopefully he will be extended. He will be punished to the fullest extent of the law. So that's something to talk about. But yeah, as a whole, Survivor Series was really good. We really enjoyed the storyline of the egg. You know, it was kind of this thing where they were kind of promoting Red Notice for Rock, and so apparently Rock gave Mr. McMahon this Cleopatra's egg, and it was worth $100 million. And one moment it was there, and the next minute it was gone, and so that led into last night's Monday Night Raw, and they found out who took it. It was Austin Theory, and so it was it was some really interesting stuff. So, but yeah, enjoy Survivor Series. Great show. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJTRIP20 or AJTRIP20. Make sure you go there and you check out my rapid reaction to Survivor Series. It's up, and I think if you missed it, it is definitely worth a watch. Go back on Peacock, find it, and watch it. And speaking of that, while I'm talking about WWE in general, they also have on Peacock season 2 of the Ruthless Aggression documentaries up there, and I watched those yesterday as well. Really good, really good stuff from the Ruthless Aggression era. Once again, I would recommend you watch that as well. To college football, looking back on it, on Friday, Houston beat Memphis 31-13. San Diego State beat UNLV 28-20. And then to Saturday's action, We have some of these games again, which I cannot stand. Texas A&M beat Prairie View 52-3. Clemson upset Wake Forest 48-27. Ohio State destroyed Michigan State 56-7. Oklahoma State slipped by Iowa State 28-21. Georgia beat Charleston Southern 56-7. Iowa beat Illinois 33-23. Notre Dame shut out Georgia Tech 55-0. Way to go, Fighting Irish. Michigan beat Maryland 59-18. Cincinnati beat SMU 48-14. Pittsburgh beat Virginia 48-38. Wisconsin beat Nebraska 35-28. Texas San Antonio beat Alabama Birmingham 34-31. Alabama slipped by Arkansas 42-35. Not the defense Alabama has had the past several years this year. A lot of games where they would maybe kind of whoop on teams. They're very close and very in these games. So the tide is rolling, and I think we're going to be finding out very soon. What the tide is all about. And as I'm reading this, I'm seeing the AP rankings, and Georgia's 1, Ohio State is 2, Alabama is 3, Cincinnati is 4, and Notre Dame is 5. And to be honest with you, that's what and Michigan is 6, and that's what the college football playoff rankings should be. That is what the college football playoff rankings should be. Georgia should be 1, Ohio State should be 2, Alabama should be 3, Cincinnati should be 4, Notre Dame should be 5, and Michigan should be 6. The 6 in the AP should be the 6 in the whatever you call it, in the college football playoff rankings. Back to the recap. NC State beat Syracuse 41-17. BYU beat Georgia Southern 34-17. Louisiana beat Liberty 42-14. Baylor beat Kansas State 20-10. Mississippi beat Vanderbilt 31-17. Utah, probably the biggest upset, beat up on Oregon, who was third in the college football playoff. They blew them out 38-7, and Oklahoma State shut out Texas Tech 23-10. So now here we are. We have rivalry. It's so hard for me to say that for some reason. Rivalry week. Fuck. I'm trying to do podcasting for a living and I can't say the fucking word. Rivalry weekend. So we start this Thursday evening, the Egg Bowl, Mississippi State versus Mississippi. Friday we got Boise State and San Diego State. We also have Iowa and Nebraska, Cincinnati and East Carolina, Arkansas and Missouri, Colorado and Utah, UNC versus NC State. I think that's for the Victory Bell, I believe. And that's all happening on Friday. And then Saturday, of course, we got the game. Ohio State versus Michigan. Obviously, this is for not only for bragging rights, but this is for a shot at the college football playoff. Just the winner here probably jumps up into the top 4. Jumps up into the top 4. And then has a chance to go there by facing. I think they're facing one of the teams facing Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. Texas Tech at Baylor. We got Houston and Connecticut, Georgia and Georgia Tech. Love it. Plain old-fashioned hate between Georgia and Georgia Tech. Notre Dame beat Georgia Tech 55-0. Georgia to do the same, maybe even more to Georgia Tech. Wake Forest and Boston College. North Texas and San Antonio. The Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. This like we mentioned, this Alabama defense isn't the same like it has been in the past. This should be, this could be maybe a game that's a lot closer than people would think. Oregon and Oregon State, what do they play for? Oregon State. I used to know a lot of these by heart. I don't now, unfortunately. Michigan State and Penn State, they play for the Land Grant Trophy. I do know that. Wisconsin and Minnesota, I think this is the Pig, right? This is Floyd of Rosedale. This is Pig. Louisiana Monroe at Louisiana. Texas A&M and LSU. I'm not sure to play anything. Bedlam, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Both, Oklahoma probably doesn't have a shot because they have 2 losses, but Oklahoma State, no. Oklahoma has 1 loss. No, he doesn't have 2 losses. So Oklahoma still has a shot. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State both have shots at making the college football playoffs. If we get a whole bunch of chaos happening over the next couple of weeks, but that probably will not happen. Pittsburgh and Syracuse, Notre Dame and Stanford, and BYU and USC. Kind of interesting the fact that BYU and USC are playing. And can I say this? As I talk about Notre Dame and Stanford, see, Notre Dame, for some reason, and I know the reason why. They have this was in the past. They've been playing Stanford and USC for years, and they kind of have this thing where they alternate who they play at on the last weekend between USC and Stanford. And the reason why they do that is because of recruiting. They would like to get a start on the recruiting of the California players to come to Notre Dame, and they want to do it early so that they want to do it that week and beyond. They want to bring recruits there to watch them play against USC or play against Stanford. And that's fine, and I understand that. But this started back in the time when there wasn't private jets, and there were private jets. Teams that have private jets, teams can charter planes or anything like that. So to me, I think this is one of the things that is passé for Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame really needs to maybe make a choice on who they want their team to be. And both Stanford and USC, they have other rivals. Maybe you can say they might even be bigger than Notre Dame. You get USC and UCLA. They're a big rivalry. They played last year. Stanford has Cal, and they're rivals. So who knows? Maybe Notre Dame need to just pick another squad. Maybe they can pick another team that is and have them there. And have them there as their last one. Navy's bigged rival is Army, but they for some reason several years ago they stopped playing on rivalry weekend. They play now after they play after championship week for some reason. I have no idea, because it becomes the only game on the record. So I actually think maybe what Notre Dame needs to do is Notre Dame needs to maybe make Navy their final game and make that rivalry the last one, because the fact that Notre Dame never has a home game for its final game, I think it's kind of bad. So yeah, that's just me though. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, that's a review and a recap of week 12 and a preview of week 13 of the college football season. Again, tonight the rankings for the college football players are coming out, and for me, it's I think the top 6 should be 1 Georgia, 2 Ohio State, 3 Alabama, 4 Cincinnati, 5 Notre Dame, and 6 Michigan. That's what I would put down as for the college football rankings. But we'll see what happens coming out later on tonight. So now let's look back at the NFL last week. It's Thursday. The Patriots beat the Falcons 25-0. many astute people realize that 25 is 28 minus 3, and that's the theme for the Falcons in the Super Bowl a couple years ago against the Patriots. So yeah, 25-0. Patriots shut out the Falcons. Sunday's action: the Ravens beat the Bears 16-13. Just incredible. Bears could not beat the Ravens with them not having Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown, and just, oh boy. They lost Justin Fields as well. Hurt his ribs. He probably will not play Thursday against the Lions. Vikings beat the Packers surprisingly 34-31. The season is all kinds of crazy. Colts beat the Bills 41-15. Jonathan Taylor had 5 touchdowns, 4 rushing, 1 receiving. Incredible. Browns beat the Lions 13-10. I've been seeing on the television that the Baker Mayfield has something to say about the Browns booing him. Talking about they should be quiet on offense. Okay, Jay Cutler, you can be more Jay Cutler than you ever been, huh? All right, you should just shut up from talking about the fans. Washington beat the Panthers 27-21. Ron Rivera makes a comeback to Carolina. Cam Newton made his first start for the Panthers since coming back. But Tyler Heineke was really, really good. I think they may have something in Taylor Heineke in Washington. The Texans beat the Titans 22-13. I don't know how they beat the Titans. It is unreal. Figure out how that happened. The Jaguars lost to the 49ers 30-10. 49ers are now at 500. The Dolphins beat the Jets 24-17. The Eagles beat the Saints 40-29. I think it's time for the Saints to go to Taysom Hill. He just re-signed a contract yesterday. And so I think it's time for them to go to Taysom Hill. They tried with Trevor Siemian. I don't know why they just didn't go to Taysom Hill to begin with. To me, he was always like the better and most, the better quarterback for this organization. But they went with Jameis Winston, and they weren't doing much on offense with Jameis Winston. So I'm not sure why they just didn't, Taysom Hill could do that. So I think they really need to go to Taysom Hill. And maybe not this week because it's a short week, but maybe after that week they'll give Taysom Hill a full week of practice and make him the starter. The Bengals beat the Raiders 32-13. The Raiders, again, like we mentioned before, when the John Gruden thing happened, that first game after the first game of the John Gruden thing was after the Bears game, and they lost to the Bears. But it was that next day, that Monday, John Gruden resigned. The game afterwards, they came out against, I forget who it was, maybe it might have been the Giants, but they came out and they just, flat out whooped their ass. And it was just like, yes, form and show this team that this is what you can do. But then they had the arrest and release of Henry Ruggs, and then the release of somebody else who put guns out on Instagram or something like that, and it was threatening people. So, but ever since then, it's just been downhill for the Raiders, and I think that's unfortunate because it looked like they were on their way to maybe doing something, getting into the playoffs. Chiefs beat the Cowboys 19-9. All you folks out there that was picking the Cowboys to beat the Chiefs, boy, it's the Cowboys. What are y'all doing? And it's the Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes. Come on, y'all. I mean, this was still not, a Patrick Mahomes special, a Kansas City Chiefs special, but come on, this is Patrick Mahomes here. He wasn't going to let the Cowboys come in there and beat them. The Cardinals, last game without Kyler Murray, beat the Seahawks 23-13. This is pretty much looking like someone is going to be leaving Seattle. and I'm not sure, not exactly sure who it is. Will it be Russell Wilson, or will it be what's his face, the coach there, Pete Carroll? In my humble opinion, what I would do is that I would trade Russell Wilson, get you back, to get you, I'm not sure what Miami's thinking of, but they've got their eyes on Deshaun Watson, but I would totally send, if can, I don't know if Russell Wilson has a no trade clause or anything like that. I know he had teams that he would be willing to go to, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. But in the offseason, I would trade Russell Wilson, trade him to Miami, get those 2 first-round picks, and maybe get like another 3rd or 4th rounder as well, and I would start the rebuild. I would start the rebuild of Seattle. And I would trade. I would trade Metcalf too. Metcalf and Lockett. I would trade their players and then start the rebuild. Rebuild it into a better not maybe like a better one, but maybe start it, because right now it just looks like this. With everything that happened in the offseason and what they're going through right now, and we do know that Russell Wilson was injured, but it looks like right now that this might be the best choice for Seattle in the future. Sunday Night Football, we had the Chargers beat on the Steelers 41-37 in a very entertaining, high-scoring game. And last night, Monday Night Football, Buccaneers took care of the Giants 30-10. As we look to this week, we've got Thanksgiving happening, and which, by the way, I just want to wish everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you enjoy the family and the food and the football. We talked about Mississippi State and Mississippi, the Egg Bowl, but we also have Bears and Lions, the traditional Sunday game for the Lions. Bears are playing the Lions. Looks like you're not gonna get Jared Goff versus Justin Fields. You're gonna get Andy Dalton versus Tim Boyle. Oh boy. The Raiders and the Cowboys. This should be a really good game. Hopefully, the Raiders will be game enough to give the Cowboys some guff, and then the Cowboys will come back and they can do their thing. And then the Sunday night action, we got the Bills and the Saints. Both teams coming off a loss. This is the Bills' turn to get back on track. And again, talk about the Saints. They're 5-5. They're looking to stay in the playoff race. But I don't know what they can really do about it with Trevor Siemian. I like Trevor Siemian. He's a Northwestern guy, but I really do think Taysom Hill is the more effective quarterback, and he should be playing and starting. But we will see. Like I mentioned earlier, maybe you can't do it now because of the short week. Maybe he starts in week 13 after we get the extra time to get him ready. On Sunday, we had the Steelers and the Bengals happening, Panthers and the Dolphins, the Eagles and the Giants, Titans and the Patriots. That should be a good game. The Patriots are the leaders in the East, with the Bills losing 2 of its last 3, and the Patriots on a 4-game winning streak as of this point. They're there, and the Titans, just coming off of their loss, bad loss to the Texans. They need to get back on track. The Falcons and the Jaguars, the Buccaneers and the Colts should be very interesting. Colts are trying to get back into that playoff race, but the Titans are going to spiral out. They need to win and win, because the Titans swept the Colts this year in their games, so they have you can put up tag on an extra game. They have the tiebreaker if they end up being tied at the end of the season. So the Colts are going to try to win. And the Buccaneers, they won, beat the Giants. Now they need to come back and try to beat the Colts, get back on their roll as they did last year after their bye. And they came back, and then they went all the way to the playoffs and Super Bowl and won. The Jets and the Texans, that should be ugly. The Chargers and the Broncos, Vikings and the 49ers, that could be a good game. The Vikings are playing really well right now. Kirk Cousins, 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's good, y'all. Those of y'all don't think Kirk Cousins is good. He's good. He's very good. And the 49ers also, both teams are fighting for a playoff spot. Rams and Packers, that's going to be a really good one. Packers just have this loss. The Rams are now coming off their bye week. Full few weeks of practice between Stafford and Beckham, and see what they can do and get themselves together back in the flow of things in Los Angeles. Browns and Ravens on Sunday Night Football. That should be interesting to see if Lamar Jackson is back. And Hollywood Brown is back as well. And then on Monday Night Football, not that great of a game. The Seahawks at the Washington Football Team. But hey, we got star power in Russell Wilson there. So and if the Seahawks, I don't even know if the Seahawks may have a chance. I think there's too many teams ahead of them. But like I just mentioned with them, I think we'll see what happens. And I really do find it interesting to see what they would do in Seattle at the end of the season. I find that really very interesting. Are they going to keep Pete and get rid of Russell? Are they going to keep Russell and get rid of Pete? Are they going to get rid of both, or are they going to keep both? That's very interesting. And like I told you my opinion, I would keep Pete, trade your stars, and do a rebuild. But that's just me. That would be it for this week's Game According to Me. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to support your boy, you can do it in so many ways. You can do it monetarily by going to Anchor.fm/Andre's Triplet Show, and you can just go there, and there's 3 tiers: 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99. There's also my Patreon, patreon.com/AJTRIP. Join and become a patron. Once you get a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what you see on my YouTube channel, what you hear on my other podcast that will be starting in the new year. And well, I'm not gonna talk about the Twitch channel because you can't do it. Yeah. And then there's also the non-monetary way of supporting me, which is just by rating my podcast on wherever platform that you're listening, rating it, giving me the star ratings and everything like that, and just letting the world know, sharing my podcast to your family and friends on social media and everything like that. Just helping a brother out. So many ways you can do so, and I thank you guys so much for doing so. And I thank you guys so much for listening as well. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.